Helen Bamber, who is currently 87 years old and a psychotherapist, is the daughter of parents of Polish-Jewish origin and grew up in London as Nazism was beginning. When World War II ended, she was 19 years old and insisted on going to Germany to do what she could for survivors, making her way to the concentration camp of Bergen-Belsen.
By 1945, thousands of prisoners who had become too weak were shipped to Bergen-Belsen camp to die off slowly by starvation and typhoid. In the 1 month of March, more than 18,000 men, women, and children succumbed to death. Hitler's most famous victim, Anne Frank, died in the Bergen-Belsen camp a few weeks before the camp was liberated by the British Army on April 15, 1945. Despite the arrival of the British Army, it was unable to rescue the inmates. On that day, the British found 10,000 unburied corpses and 40,000 sick and dying prisoners. Bergen-Belsen was only one of many concentration death camps throughout Europe. The total deaths from Nazi genocide policies included European Jews being 5.6 million to 6.25 million. This does not include the non-Jews, which would bring the total to approximately 7.25 million dead from Nazi policies. These atrocities are what led Helen Bamber to be involved with this cause. As mentioned before, Helen Bamber's parents were of Polish-Jewish descent, and the atrocities of the genocide left Helen Bamber with a passion and desire to help make a difference.
By working with survivors, she became an early member of Amnesty International, an organization to protect human rights. She later established and became director of the Medical Foundation for the Care of Victims of Torture in 1985. Amnesty International's vision is for every person to enjoy all the rights enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the other international human rights standards. They are independent of any government, political ideology, economic interest, or religion, and are funded mainly by our membership and public donations. Amnesty International is a global movement of more than 3 million supporters, members, and activists in over 150 countries. They work with and for each other to defend human rights. They believe that human rights abuses anywhere are the concern of people everywhere. Operating at first from a hut in the yard of the Amnesty International office, the 6 founding members of Freedom from Torture, formerly known as the Medical Foundation for the Care of Victims of Torture, under Helen Bamber's directorship, began documenting evidence of torture through provision of consultation for survivors and campaigning against human rights violations. The new organization was granted charitable status in 1985 and set out to provide survivors with medical treatment, counseling, and therapy, and to document evidence of torture. If you would like to join, donate, or volunteer your time to Amnesty International, please contact the Amnesty International office in your country or territory via amnesty.org. Freedom from Torture, formerly known as the Medical Foundation for the Care of Victims of Torture, has been working for 25 years to provide direct clinical services to survivors of torture who arrived in the UK, as well as striving to protect and promote their rights. Since its inception, over 50,000 individuals have been referred for help. In April 2005, Helen Bamber established the Helen Bamber Foundation to offer a service of care to survivors of gross human rights violations. This organization was created after World War II due to the fact that many countries of that time were unable or unwilling to offer sanctuary or help those who had survived the Holocaust.
The Helen Bamber Foundation consists of several key areas. Those key areas being body-mind, social being, education, advocacy, rehab therapies, legal protection, and healthcare. Today, the Helen Bamber Foundation is the only human rights organization in the entire UK treating these survivors. At the Helen Bamber Foundation, They provide stability and care to those who have survived repeated violations and unimaginable violence. Their client population extends beyond survivors of conventional torture. In other words, torture inflicted by agents of the state alone. They include men, women, and young people trafficked for sexual exploitation or forced labor, and those who have been through domestic violence or female genital mutilation.
Helen Bamber has received many achievements over her lifetime. To name a few, she has been named European Woman of Achievement in 1993. She was awarded the OBE in 1997. She received a Lifetime Human Rights Achievement Award in 1997.
And then was also named Jewish Care's Woman of Achievement in 2008. And Helen Bamber also received the first annual Times Sternberg Active Life Award in 2009.
To learn more about her organization, you can visit helenbamber.com, and you can contribute to this organization by volunteering and or donating money.